Hi everyone, I'm Prashant. I'm part of the investments team at Arkam. And for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to walk you through how we think about generative AI at our fund and what are some of the areas we're really bullish on going forward from an investment perspective and where we think really large outcomes are possible. So over the last couple of months, generative AI has really captured the imagination of technologists, business leaders, and investors around the world. And very few technologies have actually debuted to such a fandom. And the headlines speak for themselves. Over the last few months, we've seen startups both globally and in India raise a large amount of venture capital, essentially building everything from foundational models tuned for Indian languages, which essentially unlocks a whole wave of customer applications in the future, as well as building AI-based humanoid robots, which can augment human productivity to a medium of digital as well. At Arkam, we are really bullish on generative AI. We really feel that AI is at an inflection point today. Why do we believe so? Because with the current capabilities of GenAI, AI is expected to reach human-level performance much sooner than previously thought in some key capability areas such as logical reasoning and complex problem solving, even social and emotional reasoning. And that unlocks a huge value in terms of productivity. And we also expect generative AI to be as disruptive as some of the most disruptive technologies that we've seen over the past 2-3 decades, including the likes of the internet, mobile, and cloud. And over the past few months, we've met more than 100 startups in generative AI, both new startups building generative AI first approach, as well as incumbents who are now trying to understand how do you leverage generative AI in their existing products. And even though generative AI can be applied to a wide variety of use cases, we feel that there are certain areas where generative AI will create a large amount of impact. Some of these areas include things like customer experience, software engineering, and we are seeing a lot of startups building for these use cases. The other very interesting aspect is that India today is seeing the highest growth in terms of number of developers, and we are top 3 in terms of the global talent pool in case of software development. And as India looks to power the next wave of software and AI products, one of the things that the developers will definitely see happening is a reduction in software and AI development life cycles. And what they will need is a set of tools and applications that help them launch AI models in production in a very easy way. So there's a whole wide opportunity for tools and applications built in a developer-centric way where we're enabling these developers to actually build reliable models and push them into production much faster. A third very interesting opportunity that we are seeing in India is the concept of Indic LLMs, which are essentially large language models that are trained on Indian languages. And the interesting thing about it is the complexity and the depth of our vernacular, as well as the nuances in the dialect. And that really creates a very powerful solution, which we feel can really unlock next wave of digital adoption in India, especially middle India, where customers can now have AI as a new interface to then interact with the digital applications in a whole new way, vernacular first, voice first approach. So having these interactions with founders and doing our own research, our view today, even though generative AI is a continuously evolving landscape, is fourfold. We feel, first of all, that in order for businesses, big or small in India, to really adopt and extract value from GenAI solutions, the biggest barrier today is whether these models are reliable and whether these are secure. So that's a very large opportunity pool where we think founders would have to come in and solve for if you want to see hockey stick growth in adoption. The second area is Indic LLMs, where folks building large language models can really afford deep moats because of the complexity that is involved in the vernacular. But we also feel that that can serve as a really good base for really unlocking the next level of customer and business applications, which leverage these models to then create a new digital interface for customers. A third very interesting thing is that as India is leading the next wave of software development, the current SaaS solutions out there in the market will really have to rethink its product. And why we feel so is with generative AI, a lot of the paradigm of how software is built and how people interact with software is changing. So really founders will have to think about how they can leverage AI to manage their data, manage workflows, and bake in more intelligence in the product. And lastly, we also feel that generative AI, for the new companies that are coming in, they will really have to reimagine the end-to-end workflows if they want to compete with incumbents who will already be using generative AI in their products to drive value. So as a fund, we're really bullish on 4 areas of investment. The first one is applications built on top of Indic LLMs. Imagine a customer-facing application where you have to discover and book your flight. And today it's essentially done in a very human click with a standardized flow. But imagine if this is voice first, vernacular first, where anybody in Middle India can, in his own vernacular and in his own dialect, do a voice first interaction. And the AI is complex enough to understand his personal requirement and does the booking for them. That's a very powerful new interface. And that's what we believe Indic LLMs will unlock for India. The second opportunity area where we feel is horizontal SaaS, which is leveraging a concept called agentic systems, which are essentially software that further add a high degree of automation in workflows. And where we feel the large opportunity here is that as businesses unlock more and more productivity by really automating these workflows, now the employees can now focus more of their time on doing much more core functions that are relevant to them. Right? And we are seeing interesting companies who are automating workflows in IT services management, data analytics, and other spaces. The third interesting area is vertical SaaS, and we firmly believe that vertical SaaS is the next wave that we will see in India, but AI-first approaches can help really gather proprietary data. And one of the interesting examples could be in an area like health and pharma, which has traditionally been slow adopters of digital, but with AI-first approach, you could really leverage something like an AI, for example, to reduce the drug development life cycles for companies, by really coming up with these novel chemistries, which would otherwise take a lot of time and it would also involve significant amount of capital. Lastly, on the developer-centric applications is what we are really bullish on, where we feel that somebody, for example, who's providing a package which helps them evaluate, either test these models, evaluate these models, and make sure the security is intact will be really powerful. And India's already built a bunch of infra solutions for the world in the SaaS, and we truly believe that in AI, India will also play a very pivotal role in designing some of these solutions. So overall, I think with GenAI, the space is truly limitless. What we continue to look for is really great founders and large opportunity areas, and which we hope together will really create large outcomes for us as well as the companies we back. So thank you.